Danny and Spence coming in November. It's a good fight.
I think Errol gonna kill Danny. I think he gonna
Even off the
Danny.
accident?
I think Errol gonna smoke Danny.
Even off the accident,
That's
huh?
how I feel.
Damn.
I don't know. I think I tell you, style make fights. So I just feel like style wise, Danny kind of perfect for Errol. Like he flat-footed, stand in front of him. He's not gonna try to box, and if he do try to box, his feet is not quick enough. So I just feel like Errol gonna kill him.
What about the other side of the coin? That maybe you don't think it's possible that Danny likes a guy to be aggressive, come to him, give him some opportunities for that left hook. You don't think it could be a good style matchup for Danny?
Nah, I don't think so. I think that Errol gonna keep his hands tight, keep his hands up, and I just can't see no big punch falling through and hurting Errol or anything like that. So I don't see that happening.
Spence versus Garcia being announced, and if you like that fight.
I like that fight a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I like Spence. I like Danny. I think it's a competitive fight. I'm excited to see how Spence is going to be after the car accident. Everybody's wondering, like, how is he going to come back?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so some people I'm sure are going to be betting on Danny, of course, because he's had a good performance after good performance. He hasn't had nothing crazy happen like a car accident or nothing like that. So we got to see how Spence comes back. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I like the fight. Do you think people are writing Danny off a little bit too early?
Yeah, I do think that. I do think that they write him off too early. Both of these guys are at the top level, and at the top level, those fights be 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
Who went in there and blew Danny out the water?
Nobody.
Nobody.
Mm-hmm.
So Spence is coming off of a car accident, coming off of a lot going on. We got to see how he comes back. Nobody just blew him out the water.
Right.
Garcia versus Spence, who I got. Honestly, man, I'll be real. Like, it's a great matchup, but I think that I don't know, man. Something tells me. I mean, we don't know how Spence is gonna do. Can't overlook Garcia. I think Garcia might take it, man. I won't be surprised. I don't think. I think DSG. I think Garcia and them. They don't take a fight that they don't believe they won't win. You know what I mean? So, undisputed champ. What up, baby?
Spence and Danny Garcia. I mean, their fight, I believe, is finally official.
I see Spence winning, supposedly, but it depends like I said, it depends what he got left, not saying what he got left.
But just
Definitely
after the
don't put
accident,
it,
you're saying?
Like after the accident, you definitely want to, you don't know how that really affected him, so, but I still got Errol.
Do you think this was a wise choice for him for his comeback fight, to fight somebody as elite, shall we say, like a real?
Yeah, no,
I don't want to call him like a real fighter, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
how there's like
exactly.
But I feel disrespectful even I don't even want to refer to somebody as a tune-up, because you guys are all in there putting in some work.
Right,
you know what I mean?
No, it's different levels.
Yeah,
I understand what you're saying. It's always gonna be a different level.
Totally.
Like that.
But you still believe he has it?
I still got Errol, but Danny not no walkover. He not no fucking pushing the park or nothing like that. But I still let's move a little bit. His neighbors don't trip. But yeah, I still got Errol. Yeah, should be a good fight.
Then we do have it. It's official. Danny Garcia versus Spence.
Spence, yeah.
So
another great fight. Danny Garcia, he is hard. He starts sometimes a little bit slow, but then he brings it up later rounds, and he throws punches. He has the power. I think he's stronger than Sean Porter, but Sean Porter puts more pressure. So I think if Danny Garcia catches him, he could hurt him.
wow,
So
yeah.
But those fights are like
They're so close.
They're
It's
so
hard,
close,
yeah.
Decide which way. It's like 50-50 because Sean Porter and Danny Garcia, they were like great fight too. It was pretty even fight. So it's just like those type of fights that if they fight 10 times, it's always gonna be close fights. So yeah, those type of fights.
Spence versus Garcia. Man, I don't know because he's pretty strong. Spence, he's strong as well, and I'm pretty sure he has a size advantage on him. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Danny won, but I still expect Errol to win.
Spence and Danny Garcia. Got a winner in that fight, Alexis?
Yeah, I got Errol Spence on that fight. He's a bigger fighter, faster, longer. But don't go away from Danny Garcia, man, because he has that vicious left hook, the straight right hand in his arsenal, and all around he's just a great fighter as well. You can't sleep on Danny Garcia, and if Errol Spence is not taking this fight serious, which I think he is taking it serious, but if you take a light fight, if you don't take Danny Garcia serious, then lights out to you, or you're gonna get beat. But I got Errol Spence on that fight.
Do you think he's going to try and walk him down like Errol Spence usually does? Or
Yeah.
because of that count? Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah, I feel like he's going to walk him down.
Okay. There's the Danny Garcia versus Errol Spence. That's, welterweight supremacy. Some people worry about Errol from the car crash. He's coming off confident. Nothing's been called off. Do you have a prediction for that fight?
Again, there's two routes that fight could go. We don't know how Errol Spence is. Hopefully he's 100%, 110%. But we don't know how he is. If he is 110%, I have Errol Spence. He's much bigger, stronger. The only thing is you got Errol Spence, who's a lefty, and then you got Danny Garcia, who's a righty. And Danny Garcia loves to throw that left hook. One hell of a left hook. And it's easier for a righty to land a left hook on a southpaw. So if I had to bet money, I would bet on Errol Spence.
And then the
$2 I could go.
Your Philly brother and Danny Garcia is going to be fighting Spence. How do you see that fight playing out? How do you think?
I love that fight. That fight actually gets me amped up for my fight because I was watching the build up of the fight last night on Fox, and man, it's a great fight. Spence looks great. Spence looks like the accident really didn't affect him. Some people are just built that way. Like if you look at Vinny Paz and his story and his accident, how he came back, and so you can't really like focus on the accident because the thing is, like, he doesn't even remember the accident, so it's not like he can have any flashbacks of like any fear or anything like that. It's like he went through it, he came back, he's strong, he looks solid, his body looks good. So I think it's just gonna be a great fight. I'm favoring Danny. I think Danny punches a lot harder than people and than what Spence probably expects. So I'm favoring Danny in that fight, but it's definitely a great fight. It's 50-50.
Errol Spence and Danny Garcia. Are you gonna go to that fight, and how do you expect that one to play out?
Yeah, I plan on going to it. But I'm riding with Spence, of course. That's my dude. I know it's gonna be a great fight though. Danny Garcia also, he has great boxing ability as well as crazy explosive power. But yeah, man, I'm riding with Spence all the way.
What you think of him jumping right into the fire with a Danny Garcia? Do you think he should have took a top 15 type opponent, or he should be good to go?
I think him jumping into that type of fight, just says a lot about him. His health, and just his character. He had been wanting, Danny Garcia for a while. I think boxing fans had been wanting, that type of fight for a long time. And, for him, to just jump on that type of fight right away, it's great for boxing. He must be, in great health, given, the whole accident and everything, which, is good to hear. I'm excited to see him back in there.
You think he wins that fight coming off the car accident?
Yeah, like you said, I want to see how he comes back. If he's the same Errol Spence, before the accident, I got Errol. I got Errol winning the fight. But let's see how he comes out.
Let's say he's the same guy that he's always been.
Yeah, I got Errol then.
Okay, but you got Errol? Is it a good style matchup maybe for Danny though, being that he's that big left hook counter and Errol likes to make it a fight? And
yeah, but that's Errol's thing too, though. He goes for it. He likes it. He likes people come forward, and that's both of their things. So it's gonna be a great fight. But I just think Errol's more stronger, faster. You
got think he'll stop Danny, or that's probably go 12.
I don't think he could.
Because no one stopped.
I think it's gonna go 12. Because Danny could take an ass whooping. So I think it's gonna go 12.
I also want to see Errol Spence against Garcia coming off his car crash. I feel like it had to have some effect on him. I hope that he doesn't rush back in, and I hope he sense that he was when he left. When he left, he didn't do too much damage.
Well, Michaela, obviously you love studying the tape. Is that, even though Danny Garcia will probably be an underdog, with Errol coming out of the car accident and, stylistically, Danny's very strong and he likes to counter a guy coming in. What's the chances Danny could pull that off?
I mean, honestly, Danny's a good fighter. I really like Danny Garcia, and I think that it really depends how sharp Errol Spence is. If he's the Errol Spence that we last saw against what's his name, then
Porter.
Yeah, Porter. Then I would bet Errol to win, just again because of his disciplined style. But I don't know. I don't know how sharp he's going to be in this fight. It's not like an easy comeback fight. You know what I'm saying? They're not throwing him an easy fight to see where he is and get his feet back for water. They're a tough fight. Danny Garcia is not. So we'll see. I don't really. Too many factors right now going into that fight. I can really tell you.
And Danny Garcia against Errol Spence. Who do you pick in those two and why, Jaime?
Predicciones para la pelea entre Leo Santa Cruz y Gervonta Davis y la otra entre Errol Spence Jr. y Danny Garcia.
Pues de Errol Spence y Danny García, la verdad estoy casi seguro que va a ganar Errol Spence. Yo creo que tiene pues una mejor técnica. Lo único que no lo sé es por su inactividad que ha tenido, pero yo creo que puede resolverlo. Y de Leo Santa Cruz y Gervonta Davis, creo que pues va a ser una gran pelea. Sabemos que Santa Cruz tiene ahora sí que pues muchísima experiencia, y pues lo que lo hace débil ante Gervonta es pues su tamaño, ¿no? Que Gervonta es mucho más fuerte, pero pues de los dos esperamos una gran pelea.
With the Errol Spence fight, the truth is I think Errol will win because he has more technique. One thing we don't know about is that he's been inactive, but I think he'll be able to figure out Danny Garcia.
Errol Spence versus Danny Garcia.
Yeah, if Errol comes back, the same Errol, I say Errol Spence for sure, for sure.
And why is that?
Because he's real strong. He got good stance. Knows this. He always goes to the body. He tries to break down his opponents, and I just feel like he got the accuracy. I feel like Errol's probably just a little too much.
Now, some people might look at the Danny versus Sean and the Sean versus Errol, and they were both really close. Do you think this fight?
Well, Sean, he got that style. He breaks kind of your style. He tries to ruin your game plan. He tries to get all up in you. So I see Sean. He's a tough fighter to fight and keep control of.
With that, do you see that fight with Errol and Danny being close like that, or can Errol actually pull away a really strong?
I see Errol making a clear victory.
Is there anything that Errol should watch out from Danny?
The hook. He throws his left hook. Danny's known for his hook. He knocked out Amir Khan with it, and Eric Morales. But that was even a good fight, and Eric was old, So.
Is a left hook a good tool to go against the southpaw?
It can be, for sure. It's the closest hand to him, to your left. So, it's always the closest hand, but they're right there to get hit with the right or left hook. But it's all about timing, distance, all of that. And one slip up, Errol got some power.
Do you think that we get another classic in Spence and Danny Garcia?
I don't know if it'll be as much of a barn burner depending on what Errol comes out and does. I really think it's up to Errol because Danny Garcia is going to be a tough fight for him, I think, because of his counterpunching ability. He's got underrated counterpunching, and if Errol comes in and tries to go for the knockout, I think that could turn it into a fight of the year type fight. So we'll see. It just depends. I don't think Danny's going to come out and try to do that to Spence. If Spence comes out and tries to do that to Errol, then if Errol comes out and tries to do that to Danny Garcia, then I think Danny, he's always going to fight back. So
would Errol fighting in that style give Danny more opportunities, for that left hook, for the counter left hook? Is that
yes, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. And, you know, Danny has underrated head movement defense. He rolls a lot of shots off the shoulders and things like that. So people don't realize that is more difficult than, you know, people. This fight is more difficult than people think. You know, you got Errol Spence who wants to come forward, but he might need to stay on the back foot a little bit more and try to maintain distance and sharpshoot a little bit to try and it's kind of the way Thurman fought him. You know, Thurman fought him, he moved, and then he would strike, and then he'd move, and he'd pounce. You know, he didn't just go all out, balls to the wall, going up against Errol. So, going up against Danny.
Maybe Errol kind of similar game plan to the Garcia fight. Like
that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
That's what if I were him.
Fight. Yeah.
Yep. If I were him, maybe that's how I would, you know, go about the fight.
Who do you think's the better puncher between the two?
Thing is now, like these fights as they happen, like Danny fought Porter, Errol fought Porter, you can answer some of these questions, and it might be pretty similar. You know, if you look at those fights, they were similar fights. You know, Sean just outworked Errol a little more than he was able to outwork. I keep getting them mixed up. He outworked Danny Garcia more than he was able to outwork Errol. He couldn't outwork Errol. He was able to outwork Danny by just a slight margin. But as far as the punching power, I mean, Danny landed some big shots against Sean, but I think that Errol's got to have slightly, you know, more punching power than Sean, just naturally being a bigger person. And he dropped Sean. You can kind of look at that. Danny was never able to. But you definitely can tell that Danny's got some sharp punching at welterweight still. So he's a good puncher.
I mean, we're 3 months out, but who do you give the edge to 3 months out, though, if you had to pick someone?
I'd have to give this slight edge to Errol. I think that Errol's the best in the division, but there's so many good fighters in the division, so they're all good. You know,
and
they're all
coming
good.
off that accident, so.
Yeah, that's true, but I just, from what we're seeing, you know, people say, and from what Errol's saying, and him being confident enough to go right into this fight, I don't think we're going to necessarily see too much ring rust there. I really don't. Maybe it'll be a slight factor, but just if he wasn't acting the way he is, then maybe I'd think so, but the way he's acting, it's just like it seems like he's extremely confident going into this one.
Yeah, major props to him for getting back in there with a killer after a year layoff and the accident. Man.
Yeah, man, it's a different mentality.
Mm-hmm.